On Thanksgiving Day 2012, Byron David Smith set a deadly plan into motion after his home in Little Falls, Minnesota, had been broken into at least half a dozen times in the months leading up to the execution of his plan. Smith, described as a solitary and paranoid individual, lived in fear following a series of burglaries. Among the stolen items were $4,000 in cash, a cherished watch that had belonged to his father, a former prisoner of war, and other valuables. He began taking precautions, wearing a loaded gun on his person at all times, stockpiling water and granola bars in his basement, and installing a home surveillance system. On the day of the incident, Smith parked his car down the road from his house, making it appear that he wasn't home. He armed himself, removed light bulbs to darken his basement, and set up a recording device to capture what he anticipated would happen next. That afternoon, Smith's surveillance cameras captured 18-year-old Haile Kifer and 17-year-old Nicholas Brady casing the property before breaking in. Brady entered the house first by shattering a window and making his way inside. As Brady descended into the basement, Smith, waiting in a hidden chair, opened fire. He shot Brady twice, causing him to fall down the stairs, and then delivered a fatal shot to his head. Smith then taunted Brady's lifeless body, wrapped it in a tarp, and dragged it into another room. Roughly 10 to 15 minutes later, Kifer entered the house, calling out for her cousin. She too made her way to the basement, where Smith shot her multiple times as she descended the stairs. The whole incident was recorded on Smith's home surveillance system and an audio recording device.
You're dying.
He ended her life with a final shot under her chin.
Cute. I'm sure she thought she was a real pro. They weren't human. I don't see them as human. I see them as vermin. I left my house at 11:30. They were both dead by 1. I refuse to live in fear.
After the killings, Smith moved Kifer's body on top of Brady's and left the corpses in a basement storage area. He did not contact the authorities until the following day, when he calmly reported the shootings to police. Evidence gathered from the teens' vehicle confirmed that they had been involved in burglaries, including one at a retired teacher's home the night before. Smith was charged with 2 counts of first-degree premeditated murder. His defense argued that he was protecting himself under Minnesota's castle doctrine, which allows homeowners to use lethal force against intruders. However, the prosecution argued that Smith's actions went far beyond self-defense. They pointed to the recordings, which demonstrated that Smith had planned the killings and used excessive force after the teens were incapacitated. On April 29, 2014, after just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury found Smith guilty of both counts of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.